listening to Into the Arena, a Hunger Games podcast sparking the fandom one episode at a time, with your hosts, Holly and Emily. Special thanks for music by Sam Cushion.
Welcome back, tributes to Into the Arena. This is our 10th episode, so we're so happy that you guys are all tuned in. I'm Emily.
And I'm Holly.
We have a super fun episode today. We're going to be talking about the Catching Fire soundtrack. We had so much fun with the Hunger Games soundtrack, and I can't wait. And I know Holly can't wait to get into the Catching Fire songs. Just before we get started, we are still doing our ballad read-along. It's been really fun so far. So join us tomorrow for chapters 5 and 6, and that's at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time. And that's on our Instagram. And don't forget to follow us not only on Instagram, but also on TikTok and on YouTube at Into the Arena Podcast. So let's just get into the Catching Fire soundtrack.
Yes.
Any general thoughts about the soundtrack as a whole?
Well, I think going back and listening to the whole soundtrack, I realized how much I liked it. It was a lot harder for me to pick my favorite songs because I feel like they're all very good songs. And even though it's definitely a departure from the first soundtrack and that District 12 feeling, I feel like all these songs are really powerful, and a lot of them are perfect examples of what characters are going through and the journey that they're experiencing. So I thought that there are so many powerful songs in this one that I loved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just coincides with the world being expanded and the rebellion. So there's quite a few power ballads, I think, on the soundtrack, which is the kind of music that I like to listen to personally. So I love this soundtrack. I think it's great.
I think whenever I just need to feel like a badass, I just turn up some of these songs.
Crank it up.
It's woo, I'm Katniss, channeling Katniss. We're actually going to be skipping the pregame this week and just diving right into the songs because, there's 15 songs on this soundtrack. So we're just going to get right into it. But the first song on the Catching Fire soundtrack was the first song that actually was premiered to the fans before the film even came out, and that's Atlas by Coldplay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the safe and sound, I guess, of the Catching Fire soundtrack.
Yeah. I wanted to hear your thoughts first on this one.
It's definitely one of my favorites, for sure. I remember not liking it very much when it first came out. It was just kind of too toned down for me, but it definitely has grown on me a lot. I love it now, and I love that they put it in one of the trailers. I just think it's a beautiful song. It's very Katniss and Peeta.
Oh, really?
I think. Oh, you don't think it's Katniss and Peeta?
I guess I never really thought about
definitely
it
their song.
That makes sense. I think it gives me more of a beginning of Catching Fire feel where there's that hope and that chance of change. And so I never really thought of it as Katniss and Peeta, but then again, some of my favorite lyrics are carry your world sort of thing. So I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know why I never thought of Katniss.
I guess it could be broader, but at this point, I don't know that Katniss is really carrying the weight of the world,
That's true.
until Mockingjay. So I guess that's why I thought it was Katniss and Peeta, because it's very hopeful. I think it's just a song about supporting each other and sticking together, and that's what Katniss and Peeta are doing in Catching Fire once they get on the same page.
Definitely. See, I am the biggest Coldplay fan you'll ever meet in your life.
Oh, okay.
So when I heard Coldplay was going to be on the soundtrack, I had a panic attack because I'm my two worlds are colliding. My family has literally followed them on multiple legs of their tour to go to their different concerts. Grew up with Coldplay, love Coldplay. So when the song first came out, I was so stoked, and I love the song. I think it's beautiful. It always reminds me of the poster, the first, like, the sun persists in rising, so I make myself stand poster. And it's just like a really beautiful song. I will say it's not my favorite on the soundtrack, but again, it does, like you mentioned with the trailer, it's just like this beautiful song. It reminds me more, I guess, of like Prim and Katniss in a sense, and their relationship more so like Katniss looking out for her little
Okay.
sister.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes a lot of sense to me. I didn't really think about it in terms of Prim and Katniss.
which is weird because you're the Prim and Katniss girl and I'm the Peeta and
I
Katniss.
know.
But yeah, it's just such a beautiful song. I love it, but it's not my favorite.
I also think there's a part of it makes me think about how people react very differently to situations. Like
Mhm.
at the beginning, where some saw the sun, some saw the smoke, some heard the gun, and then there's a later verse that's some search for gold, some dragon to slay, and that makes me think of Gale.
Yeah.
So just those lyrics make me think about how okay, everybody's kind of approaching this differently and
Mhm.
like how they view it.
It's a different experience for
Mhm.
everyone. Yeah. And I guess it's like you said, it's a relationship song for sure, but maybe it's just like different relationships are meant to be reflected because like Katniss is caring for Prim and Gale's really caring for Katniss, but he's also caring for this chance of the rebellion and Peeta's caring for Katniss and everyone has different motives for why they're involved. So I think it just I love that it plays at the end of the credits. I think it's like a great song to pick. It's just a really beautiful song.
Well, that's Atlas. So the next song is Silhouettes by Of Monsters and Men. This is probably one of my favorite songs
Really? I
on the
love that.
soundtrack. Yeah, it's also an end credit song.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's very Katniss and Peeta, and there's a lot of Katniss and Peeta songs on the Catching Fire soundtrack, I think.
Oh, definitely.
And just like about the trauma that they went through of the games. And I love how the silhouettes, I think, are representative of the tributes who
Mhm.
died in the first games that Katniss and Peeta were in, and how they still haunt them in their nightmares. That one line
Yeah.
that's a thousand silhouettes danced on my chest. Like,
Mhm.
it's so heavy and so sad, but I love the song. It makes me think of like how Katniss has nightmares about the mutts and just the trauma that they went through. I think it's a beautiful song.
Which I think is so fascinating because I agree that this soundtrack definitely focuses a lot more on like emotions and like this song is just one of the examples where they focus on like PTSD and the feelings of the tributes after they win. Um, I feel like there's more emotions and regard for that mental health that Suzanne Collins wanted to get across in the books in the soundtrack than there was in the movies, which I
Mm,
think is like a huge element that we're missing in Catching Fire. I think there are points where the film kind of has those moments, like the opening scene where Katniss shoots the turkey and then it's Marvel, or the nightmare scene with Peeta. But at the same time, I think these songs do a much better job of representing that struggle with almost like a survivor's guilt and literally like coming back to a world where you've murdered other children, you know what I mean? So I really enjoy this song too. And I feel like it's one of those prime examples of mental health in the Hunger Games. And I also put down the same lyrics that you did.
I also put down the you folded on the bed where I rest my head. I'm like, oh, it's like Katniss and Peeta when they're like, just
Cuddly.
getting through the night together.
So
Love it.
cute. Some of the other lyrics, like it reminds me a lot, almost like a marching song, just because of like the drums in the background. I feel like it's very
Mm,
like trying to like keep a beat, and it kind of reminds me of Katniss. She struggles to like overcome what happened to her, and she's almost like I feel like she's almost like a robot at the beginning of Catching Fire because she's trying to deal with these emotions and trying to keep everything in line and relate her past life with Gale to her new life with Peeta and being a victor. And so it's almost like that drum signifies her just like trying to figure everything out. And so I just think the lyrics are beautiful. It always gives me chills listening to it. I just love the song. It's really
yeah,
good.
I love it. It's definitely well, I haven't thought about which one's my favorite, but it's definitely up like top 3 for me.
Yeah, for sure. And then the next song, number 3 on this list, is Elastic Hearts by Sia. And even though Sia is very problematic right now, we're just going to push that aside and talk about the song. But I really like this song, and I'm curious. I feel like I like listening to it. I kind of predict what you'll like and what you won't like based off of what we talked about in the first one. And I feel like you're not going to like it. I don't know.
I do not like this song.
We are just getting to know each other.
So, congrats.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
I thought it was so interesting too because when I was doing some like research on the lyrics and like looking into it more, apparently Sia wanted this song to be performed by Katy Perry. And
Hmm.
how awful would that be?
I think it would make the song even worse.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I think of Katy Perry, I think of American Idol. So there's no way that I could picture her singing a song for Catching Fire. For me, I think I like the lyrics. I think I enjoy like the point of the song. It literally starts with another one bites the dust and it kind of reflects like the tributes, surviving. Oh my god, I can't look at you because you're like giving me a look.
No, I can't wait to hear your description of this song because for me, like the reason I don't like it is because I don't understand. I don't understand the lyrics. I can't connect it to anything. I don't think
Okay.
it fits anything.
See,
I struggle.
I thought of it as another one of those songs following Katniss and her emotions after the first games. Like the fact that she survived, meaning like another one bites the dust. So she's watching these people around her die, not only in the arena, but outside because of her actions in catching fire on the Victors tour. And then some more lines that I enjoy was, "You will never see me fall apart." So I almost think of this song as like Katniss and her experience with people watching her now that she's like a household name and she's this figure that some people are pointing her to be like a rebellion leader. So she's trying not to show this weakness like she wasn't in the first movie. And then some more lines are like, "And now we stay up through the night. Let's be clear. I won't close my eyes. And I know that I can't survive. I walked too far to save my life." Like, I love that part of the song. It's not sung by Sia, but I think it just shows how like she's gone through the most traumatic experience in the arena and then it's just like following her again with that mental health and being able to almost suppress her emotions so no one else can see her weakness, but at the same time it's like finding that balance between, is she going to be a figurehead or is she going to just not be able to do that because her emotions are holding her back. So I like the song in terms of like how it represents Katniss and like the emotion she has post Hunger Games. But it's definitely very poppy. I feel like a lot of these songs are a lot more like pop like songs, definitely compared to the first soundtrack. But
Mhm.
I like the meaning behind it, and I can sense like that strong feeling that Katniss is almost like struggling with. So that's why I enjoy it. But again, very poppy.
I feel like there are lyrics throughout, like one line might resonate, but it feels very like a relationship to
Mhm.
me.
Okay.
And I can't figure out if it's supposed to be Gale or PETA, or I just want it to connect to something like the entirety of the song. The whole like I've got a thick skin and an elastic heart, but your blade it might be too sharp. I'm like, who are you talking about?
Yeah, that makes
Like
sense.
PETA, Gale, like President Snow, but this is like more of a romantic song. I think so. I like the lyrics that you brought up,
Mhm.
but especially like the chorus, I can't connect it to anything. If
Yeah,
anything, I like when it changes to the male voice
me
singing
too.
because it makes me think of PETA a little bit,
Mhm.
but just don't vibe with this song really.
Yeah. See, I like that you brought up the relationship aspect because again, with like the two singers in the song, it definitely gives off that vibe. Like I definitely hear PETA in the male singer's part.
Mhm.
And I think that's what I like about it. So I think like for me, what I see in that again is just like Katniss and PETA and as like the victors and no longer as just Katniss and Peeta. It's how they're presented to the world, and that relationship with people who want to see them be a part of the rebellion and people who want to see them be leads for the Capitol and people who the Capitol can support, like celebrities almost. I had one more lyric, like one more line that I really enjoyed, and it says like, "You did not break me," and I really like that. Again, it's almost like dealing with that mental health problem that they're both suffering with post
But I'm
game.
like, but who though? Who didn't break you?
Probably Snow. I would say Snow and like the
Okay.
Capitol, like that big presence that they're fighting against. I don't think there's like one particular person, but it's almost like that evil that they're up against as they try and navigate this new sense of life. Yeah, I can definitely see why it's a
Yeah,
struggle.
to me, I read the lyrics and I think, okay, this is about snow or the Capitol,
Hmm.
but then because it's so like got these romantic tones to it, like it just doesn't click for me.
Yeah, definitely. But it was one of the biggest songs from the soundtrack too. I feel like they definitely
Yeah,
marketed that one off a lot.
which I don't understand.
I know, and then the next song, which is Lean by The National, which is completely different from Sia's work, but
I have this as like Hey Mitch's song.
really. Okay, to be honest with
Yeah,
you, I always press skip on this song.
yeah, so do
I
I.
don't know much
I don't
about
love
it.
it.
um,
It just makes me think of I can picture Hamish just like singing this song while he's like drinking and sad.
that's true. That's very true. I can definitely see that because I mean, like when I looked it up, I read an article talking about how the band originally called the song "Dying is Easy," which is one of the major lyrics of the song. I think they say it so many times. But apparently, the Hunger Games said that was too tragic and sad of a title to have, and the band argued. They're like, "Well, I mean, this franchise is about kids killing kids. Like, why is it
Yeah.
too dark?" So that was something that I found kind of funny.
I think Dying is Easy would be a much better name than Lean.
Hmm. Because I mean, like for me, again, I don't really know much about the song, but some of the lyrics kind of point me towards like Katniss and Peeta almost accepting their death in the 75th Hunger Games because there's and just like how people are reacting to the rebellion and the situations that happen. But otherwise, I kind of agree with your Hamish.
Yeah,
Like,
just the dying is easy and
mhm,
thinking about everything that he went through. There's a line that says, "Love will lead us all to smithereens."
mhm.
It's just really depressing. And I
Yeah,
think he would agree with that dying is easy. Like he has to make it through day to day and he's just trying to survive.
which is so much harder, like than actually being able to die. So it's a dark song, but again, I like it for not what I like. I would turn it on and like bop out to it, but I think it has more of another like District 12 feel. I think we could
Hmm.
see this connecting more to the first soundtrack, and so I like that every song was not super poppy and upbeat.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be on the first soundtrack. Hey
Hmm.
Mitch deserved a song on the on the first
True.
soundtrack.
I
So
didn't even think about that until you brought up this being a Haymitch song because he doesn't have one. So this
yeah,
is Haymitch's song.
just think about it like that.
I love
Maybe
that. Okay.
it'll move up in your estimation too.
I like it.
So the next one is We Remain by Christina Aguilera, which I remember you saying that you don't like this
Did
on,
you
was it
remember?
our last episode?
Yeah, I literally my notes for this, I wrote bullet points for all the other ones. This one I put you. Like I can't stand this song.
Why?
I think it's awful. I think it's I think it's so poppy. I think it's just too cliche. I just absolutely despise this song. Like if I could get rid of any song on the soundtrack, it would be this one. And they use it for so much marketing too. Like it was this song and Atlas and then Elastic Heart that were like the top 3 songs of the soundtrack. And when I heard this, because this was the second song released, I believe, I was like, are we really having a huge pop icon singing this gross song? So
No,
this is
but it's
slander.
like a power ballad. I
Mm.
feel like it's like an anthem for Catching Fire. It's so
That's all I
good.
have to say.
It's so good in a way that like Elastic Heart isn't, because
Oh.
I feel like
We
it's
disagree.
focused on like, I think it's a Katniss and Peeta song, but also the rebellion as a whole. And I think there are a lot of lines in it that kind of go along with Suzanne's just war debate,
Okay.
which I really love. Like like, yes, I'm a sinner, yes, I'm a saint. You know, are people truly evil? Like, everybody has their side of the war and what they think is like a just means for
Mhm.
what they're doing. There will be no fair fights. Oh, I just it's so good.
See, I think the issue is not the lyrics. I think the issue is the pop vibe to it. I think when I heard Christina Aguilera was gonna be like the singer of the song, I was like, what are we doing? Let's just put like Justin Bieber on a song. Like that's what that's equivalent to in my eyes. And so I have a lot less enjoyment and a lot less respect for the song, I think, just because of like the vibe and the singer and just how poppy it is. Like I would love a Just War debate song. I don't know.
It's
I
this
can't
song.
stand this song. This is let's get rid of her.
Well, the lyrics are fantastic. So yeah, maybe you just need to find a good like cover of it or something that's more acoustic.
Yeah. Is it like one of your top songs on the soundtrack?
Um, it's up there. Yeah, like definitely top 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more than it deserves, in my
I
opinion.
I'm just not as prejudiced against Christina Aguilera, I guess.
I think it's just like I have no like I've never listened to Christina Aguilera in my life. I think it's just
Well,
too
yeah,
long.
me neither.
It's not like I came into this hating Christina Aguilera.
Like I did with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, which we had our talk about and we're over it. I hope you respect her now, Miss what was it? Album
No,
of the year, but
I love Taylor Swift.
okay, good. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this song. I don't like it. I hated the trailers it was used with. I don't know. Yeah.
When I was listening to it on Apple Music, that's like where I listen to music, and the lyric was, "Yeah, we know it hasn't been for nothing, because we'll never let it snow us down instead of slow us down." And I was like, "That's not the lyric, but that would be hilarious if it
Oh, I thought that
was."
was actually the lyric, and I was like, that's why I hate this song. That is it.
We'll never let it snow us down.
Like
No, it's
that's too
slow.
much. Oh, disgusting.
I'm disappointed, but it's all right.
It's okay. Are we still friends?
I guess.
The next song I do love though, which
Okay, me too.
okay. I felt like you would enjoy it. I wrote in all caps, love. For me, I think it represents all the emotions of Katniss and Peeta on the Victory Tour. Like this would have been the perfect montage song for the Victory Tour.
That's exactly what I wrote,
Yes. Oh
Holly.
my God,
I
we're
wrote,
friends
it makes
again.
me think of the Victory Tour. This is when it should have played in the movie.
Yes, I think, and it wouldn't have brought it out. Like we would have been in the film. Like I know that it's hard to incorporate a lot of these songs into the movie because of the themes and like what the whole
Mhm.
plot is about. But like
This
lines
song is
like,
very quiet and unassuming, though. Like
yeah,
you're right. I don't think it would have distracted at all. It would be have been perfect for the montage. The
yeah,
only thing, though, is that the tour, like the score, that's my favorite score.
yeah, it's
I
pretty
think
good.
all of the movies. That's the
Hmm.
one I listen to the most. So can't
Yeah.
hate that the tour is the music. But
Yeah,
this would have been a good alternative for sure.
there's just like so many lines, like literally saying like faces in the crowd will smile again, and the devil may cry. Like it's just so beautiful. And then at the end, there's that pickup, and it gets more intense. Like it's no longer just a soft song, and just that the lines like they will parade upon your victory. It's just like That would have been so perfect as they
So
like
good.
slowly eased into the tour and then started seeing more of the uproar like we do in the movie. So it would have been so
Mhm.
perfect. You need to make an edit of this.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, round 2 of my edit videos.
Yes.
Putting
I
songs into the movie.
I need this. And now whenever I'm thinking about montages in movies, I think of you automatically.
I love a good montage. Okay. Gotta think about where in the ballad movie I need there to be a montage.
That should be a whole episode or a live or something. We
Oh,
talk about where
I
songs
know.
should
When
be.
the Oh wait, I can't. I don't want any spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. I'll tell you later.
Okay. But yeah,
It's
that's all I
just
have.
yeah, I mean, I really love the lyrics. I mean, you said some of my favorites already, but like "Home will feel like home again." Uh, just makes me so sad, but it's such a hopeful and like beautiful song. And I just love that line, like the devil may cry at the end of the night.
Hmm. It's stunning. And just like the contrast between like the lyrics and the voice versus the actual music in the background. Like there's almost like this conflict between like what this rebellion means for people and what Katniss and Peeta's act after the end of the games represent to people because some people were ready to
Mm,
take that chance and um, go against the Capitol, but some were definitely more hesitant and it took a lot more time. And so I think that just represents like the conflict people had in terms of like what they saw in that act of rebellion at the end of the 74th game. So good. Good.
yeah. Yeah, this is like another, I think probably another of my top 3.
Me too, definitely. I
So
get
good.
chills. Ah, so good.
So the next one, song 7, is Who We Are by Imagine Dragons. I I love Imagine Dragons.
I was gonna say this. This is so weird, but I was like, you are somebody who would love Imagine Dragons,
Oh
I feel like.
yes. Yes,
I
yes.
We've never talked about Imagine Dragons, but you just give me the vibe that you're an Imagine Dragons fan.
Yes, I've been Imagine Dragons fan for a very long time.
Yeah, and like
I
when
love their songs. I just love blasting their songs, like
yes.
dancing around my house to them. I love songs that have like a really good beat.
Mhm.
That's just like my kind of music.
It's a good like lots of their songs are good workout songs too because they're just like so empowered. And I
Mhm.
remember like at the time when the soundtrack came out, everyone was on the Imagine Dragons train. Like when I saw they were on the soundtrack, I was like, okay, girl, give me some more. Like I
I
can't.
was so excited, but I have to say I don't think that this is their best song.
Definitely.
I was a little disappointed just because I was such a big Imagine Dragons fan.
Hmm.
That this was the song, but I kind of view it as the victors song
Definitely. Me
in
too.
my eyes. Like we were never welcome here.
Hmm.
Just when the games is happening and it's all like the tables are turned on them, that
Yes.
they were part of the capital, but like really they never were, and it's all uphill from here. Just them having to work so hard to overcome like being a tribute and not really like fitting anywhere in society. um and then that like it doesn't matter if we've gone too far having killed people and participating in the games. Yeah, it just makes me think about the victors, so I do really like this song.
I could not have said that better. Like I think we read each other's mind because that's exactly how I felt about this song. Like it's not my favorite song, but it's not one that I'm going to turn off immediately. And again, those are the same lyrics I picked out and for the exact same reason. So we're on the same
Great.
page. We're on the same page. I mean, like you said everything I wanted to say, if I'm being honest with
I'm
you. Like
sorry.
I was going to talk about like the start of the 75th games and how they're all like feeling betrayed and you literally just said that. So just listen to Emily and that's exactly what I was thinking. We're moving on to Miss Queen Mockingjay herself. Lords, everybody wants to rule the world, which obviously was a remake song, which I did not know at 13 years old. It was my dad who told me that.
I didn't either.
Really? Okay. I was just like, Tears for Fears. He's like, oh, this is not a Lorde song, by the way. And I was like, what do you mean? It's such a good song. She definitely wrote it. He's like, no, definitely not.
But then you hear the original song and it's so different and you're like, oh,
Mhm.
this song. Okay, I've heard this before.
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't feel like the same song.
I think I like that because I think if they would have included somehow, like, gotten the rights to the Tears for Fears version, I think that it would have not fit the vibe at all, but I think by her making it so dark and dramatic and just, like, a completely different feeling than the original, it really does represent the feeling of catching fire and the conflict of power and Snow's control and the capital versus the district. So, I mean, I think it's a great song to include, and I'm surprised that they got the rights to it. So,
I know. To be honest, this is another one that feels more like a Mockingjay
yeah,
song to me. I feel like jumping the gun a little bit,
I agree
just
with that.
because it makes me think of that power struggle between Snow and also Coin.
Yeah,
But I'm obsessed with this song. It's
yeah,
so dark and I just love the sound of it. It might be one of my it might be one of my favorite songs from like the whole. I think
really,
it's top 3 from all the soundtracks for
really,
me.
wow.
Mhm.
I think
I listen to it all the time.
I love that. I think it definitely fits in more to Mockingjay. So, would you say it's like your favorite on the Catching Fire soundtrack, or would you be happier? Like, would it have a higher
Um,
placing if it was on the Mockingjay soundtrack?
I think it might be my favorite on the Catching Fire soundtrack. Yeah.
Wow, a
Mhm.
statement has been made.
I also really like Silhouette, but
Mhm.
Devil May Cry. Like, those are my 3 favorites on the
Okay,
soundtrack.
okay, we haven't gotten to mine, so that's coming.
Oh, okay. This song, "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," is on my ballad playlist.
That would fit in perfectly.
It
I
is
haven't
definitely, like, a ballad song.
I haven't
If they
made
bring back any song for a ballad, I don't know if they would do that, but they
Mhm.
should put this song.
I hope they have a soundtrack for ballad
I hope
because
so.
we need one that hopefully redeems Mockingjay's soundtrack.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that's so true. I love that. I haven't made like a playlist yet for ballad. I need to, but I'm adding that one on. That was a perfect idea.
I'm like, I'm allowed 1 repeat song. It's
This is
cheating
it.
to take something from any of the Hunger Games soundtracks because it's Hunger
Mhm.
Games, but taking that one.
But this song just goes again to that power in the capital and snow and like the fight for control. And so it would be a perfect Coriolanus song.
Mhm. It
Yeah,
is.
that's a great point. But I liked it. I think the song itself, even though it was made like decades ago, was made for the Hunger Games.
Yes.
It's it's
The
just
Hunger
perfect.
Games claims it.
Exactly. The next song is the Gale song by the Lumineers.
Wonder what this one's about.
Okay.
I don't like this song
Thoughts?
because it makes me feel bad for Gale. Like, nah.
Just skip. You're like,
It's an end
no.
credits song too,
Yeah,
which
which
is
I'm really
interesting.
shocked about. I totally forgot. Um, yeah, it's definitely a let's give Gale some love. I think this is the
Mhm.
only song we get to give Gale some love.
And it is very Gale. Like, it's called Gale song, but I mean the lyrics, like, I
Mhm.
wasn't there to take your place.
Okay, yeah, I love that.
Something that he definitely thinks about, like, actually in the book, like, vocalizes.
Hmm.
I always laugh at the line when you hear my voice when you say my name, may it never cause you pain. And I'm like, well, sorry to
Stay
disappoint
tuned.
you.
Have you read Mockingjay? I love this song. It's not like one that I like ever enjoy listening to.
It's very
um,
pretty, like, and the lyrics are great. It's like fits. It's definitely Gail's song.
yeah, and I mean, like, I like it because it's so direct. Like, if it had a different title than Gale's song, I don't think I would like it as much, which sounds weird.
No, I get what you mean.
I just think it by making it so direct and like actually giving us a perspective from Gale, which is so ignored in I think it's more played in the movies than even in the books. I think it's just a really great song, even though I don't like Gale. But like some of the lyrics, like you said, I wasn't there to take his place. I was 10,000 miles away. I couldn't know what's in your mind, but I saw the pictures. You're looking fine. Like it's just like so hard because I can't even imagine, as much as we hate on Gale, we don't stand Gale, but just imagine being in this place and like watching everything happen during the games and post games and just like the line. And there was a time when I stood in line,
Mm-hmm.
like,
For love, for love, for love.
really. And I was
I
shocked.
let you go.
Jam out after last week's
It's
episode.
good.
Um, I just I really like it, and I was honestly really shocked that the Lumineers included this on their own soundtrack. Like they kept this. I forget which album it was with the Lumineers, but
Oh, cool. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
So I thought it was interesting because like if you're not a Hunger Games fan, I guess you could listen to this and just see it as like the one who got away, the love that you never got to have, sort of thing. So Gale's emotions are universal, I guess. But again, we'll come back to how much we don't like Gale, and that'll happen. So.
I think that's next week.
Oh, little spoiler.
So the next one, number 10, is Mirror by Ellie Goulding. I really like the lyrics. I think it's got this haunting vibe that I really like. It's kind of just about how I think Katniss doesn't really know who she is anymore or like recognize herself
Mm-hmm.
after the games. Another like trauma of the games kind of song. I like that one line, if I'm really a winner, where did all these demons come from? Which
Yeah.
reminds me a lot of how Haymitch says that there's no winners
Mm-hmm.
in the games.
Yeah, I agree. I think it goes back to like our first conversation with silhouettes, where it's like we finally get to see a perspective that's not shown in the films as much. And it's such a Katniss song. Like it literally, the lyrics are so straightforward that you can know that it's Katniss.
Mm-hmm.
I put down the same lyrics about you and like, or that you did, and then one of the other ones I did was, are we star-crossed lovers? Did I really want you gone? So it's like that conflict with Peta too, and her decisions between loving him, and just like being so straightforward and saying, I was the girl who was on fire. Only a bird could get much higher. Like I just
I kind of don't like that part.
yeah, I feel like you wouldn't because didn't you say in the first soundtrack that you don't like when lyrics are like
Uh-huh.
so
When it's too
factual?
on the nose.
Yeah.
I mean, like we were just talking about Gale's song, but that one, it's like this is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, like you wouldn't like it if it was titled something different, but it's just too on the nose for me, some of the
Yeah.
lyrics.
I think it's a good song to make edits to. Like I love like the Katniss edits with this song.
But that's why I like, because I feel like the song is very similar in what it's trying to say to Silhouettes, but Silhouettes is like the one that I would pick.
I think I would too, yeah. But it's still a great song. Again, I agree with you about it being kind of in the middle. The next one, if you don't have anything else to say about
Yeah, I'm
Ellie
good.
Goulding, Capital Letter by Patti Smith. I'm gonna have a no thanks to this song.
Yep. I'm like, I skip this song. It's like really weird.
I think it's annoying. However, the one note that I did put was it's the most District 12 sounding song, or one of the most, besides Lean and Gale song, I
Yeah,
would say.
I always skip this song. It's way too weird, but at least the vibe is right.
Hmm. But it's almost like the vibe isn't right because
As a whole, yeah.
because
This
this,
is like the sound.
there's only a few songs that I could see fitting on the, like if we're basing it all off the original soundtrack, I would say Lean, Capital Letter, and Gale Song would fit onto that. So then like
Mhm.
they're totally outweighed. Like again, this soundtrack is way more poppy, has different genres, and so I feel like this one is almost just like an outcast because I think it's bad and because it doesn't sound like any of the other ones and not in a good way. So
Yeah, I feel like it would be better if Lean was on the first soundtrack. I think that's really where it fits, especially seeing it like for me as like Haymitch's
mhm.
song. And I would have liked if the only one that had that District 12 vibe was Gale's song, because Gale's the one who is kind of left in District 12,
Yeah,
right?
the girl at home,
The girl at home.
the little
Yes.
sweetheart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the lyrics are very, for capital letter, like I said, are very just too on the nose. Like they're too direct. It says like whispers like Katniss at the beginning of the
yeah,
song, and then mocking as the J. Like, what does that
it's
mean?
it's awful. It's so bad. I think this and We Remain are just at the bottom for me. It's
I
like
can't
the
believe that you
song.
are equating this song with "We Remain."
They're
That's like
my toilet songs
slanderous.
of Catching Fire.
No.
But yeah, I have nothing else to say. There's no defense behind this song for me.
I agree.
The next one is Shooting Arrows at the Sky by Santa Gold. And I think it's okay. I think it's a solid middle ground song. Um, I like the lyrics. Like, I mean, like, I'm shooting arrows at the sky. It's like the main lyric, obviously. But I like more of the sound of the music, less so than I like what's actually being said. I don't know. I think it feels more like survival tone. I'm kind of feeling like Katniss in the arena vibes.
Yeah, I
Um,
can see that. Like, there's a lot of anger
mhm.
to the song.
Maybe it's a Johanna song besides like the shooting arrows at the sky. Like I think like the tone is almost like a Johanna like angry song.
You know what? Like, that makes me like this song better
I
now that you
know.
said that.
I
I'm
kind
gonna
of
have to go re-listen to this song and think about Johanna,
yeah. I
because
just thought
I
of
don't
that.
really like this song, to be honest. I feel like it's too, like, I don't know, angry up, but like upbeat. I don't really like the sound of it. I don't
Hmm.
understand the lyrics very much.
Yeah. I think for me it's one that I enjoy listening to for like the like if I'm like again if I'm trying to feel those emotions of Catching Fire, like I definitely get it from this, but I just don't know what exactly the point of it is besides like clearly shooting arrows at the sky and starting a rebellion from what happens at the end of the quarter quell. But like a Johanna perspective would be kind of cool.
The out of my way, you missed with your magic. Like, I
Hmm.
don't know. That definitely gives me Johanna vibes.
This is the Johanna song. I like
I like it.
it.
The next three are, well, they're the songs that were on the deluxe edition.
Which I didn't realize. I did not know that.
Yeah, so there are like 12 on the main soundtrack, and then 15, so three extra songs in the deluxe edition. And
Mhm.
hadn't really listened to them that much. Like, I've definitely heard them all before, but when I'm listening to the Catching Fire soundtrack, they're never like on the list. So
Really? These are
I
like what I think of Catching Fire, these 3.
really,
Mhm.
wow, okay. I don't have a lot of notes because, to be honest, I don't really like them for the most part.
Yeah.
So the next one, 13, is Place for Us by Mickey Echo. This is the one that I like of
Oh,
the last three.
this is the one I don't like of the last
Oh,
3.
interesting. I like
Yeah.
that it's still like at the end, at the back of the pack though, for
Mhm.
me. I think it's a Katniss and Peeta song. Hey, there is a place for us. It's just hopeful.
Mhm.
I think it's pretty.
I just think it's kind of gross. I don't
Kind of
know.
gross.
I think I just don't like
Like,
the sound of
what
it.
part of it? The sound. Okay.
Like just like how it starts, it's like the guitar and like I don't know, I just don't really like it. I think I like the chorus a
Gross.
lot more. That's the vibe I get. I don't love it. I could do without it. And so again, like it reminds me of the Hunger Games soundtrack because there were Katniss and Peeta songs, but I didn't love them as much as the Katniss or Gale songs. And I feel like I'm reliving that because this is
Mm,
a bad Katniss and Peeta song.
just listen to
Um,
the good ones. Listen to Silhouettes.
just listen to Just a Game.
Just a game. Yes.
The next one is Lights by Phantogram, which is one of my probably top 5 favorite songs.
All I said is I don't like this song.
Really? I
Yeah.
This is a song like it gives me Catching Fire vibes. Like when I'm listening to the soundtrack, I'm listening to this song because it's Katniss's emotions between Gale and Peeta. Just like it gives me such a strong feeling of the first few chapters of the book. Like the lyrics are, and I love the sun, but I can't realize why I'm living alone. And I feel awake I've never felt before on my own. I feel like it just reminds me of those scenes where she's back in District 12 and trying to like return to that old sense of like who she was before the games, but she's struggling with this mental depression and this PTSD and survivor's guilt. And so I think it's just a perfect example of like following Katniss post games. Like I love it. I love this song.
I'm listening to this song again.
Don't get us copyrighted. I love this song.
This song is so boring.
I love this song. And then it like picks up. I just feel Katniss inside of my heart when I'm listening to this. I love it.
I could fall asleep listening to this.
Oh my god. See, I feel like it's a hype up song. I don't know.
What?
I definitely feel the hype behind the song.
Well, you can have this one.
That look.
Like
the Emily look.
the Emily look. Just like utter disappointment and disbelief.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny. I love it. Then you're gonna hate me for the next song because Catching Fire in the Hunger Games soundtrack discussion, I said definitely I have an all-time favorite song of the whole
It's
thing.
this song?
It's Angel on Fire by Anthony and the Johnsons. I cry to this song. I literally will put this song on and cry. I'll get chills, I'll get goosebumps. I will feel all the Catching Fire Hunger Games emotions. It like I literally put my first 3 bullet points of notes are masterpiece. I cry. I love it. Like this is one of my top 2 songs probably of the whole soundtrack of all the songs. It's so good.
All right.
It's so short. It's so beautiful. Like I know it's so on the nose, but like the lines like, "Oh, I'm an angel on fire, and I'm burning to escape the cold." Like the beauty of the voice of the singer just literally reminds me of Katniss, like this scene. I'm trying to like where she's looking and meeting eyes with President Snow as they're going on the victory parade of the Quell, and just like that strong power, that pride, that she is the
Like
strong
in the
character
chariots?
in the chariots. Like she is Katniss Everdeen. She's not. I think through Catching Fire, she loses her voice so much, and because she's struggling so much with everything she's experienced and these conflicting emotions for Peeta, for Gale, for everyone around her, for if she's going to be a Mockingjay, like a leader, if she's not. Like I think that this song fully encapsulates the entire idea of Katniss Everdeen finally getting her voice and realizing, screw you, I'm going to these games and I might die in these games, but I'm not going down without a fight, and here's me. Like chills. Love it. I love it. I love it. That's all I'll say. Mic drop. You just have to okay. So,
like, what am I not hearing?
you have to like I was gonna say like I listen to this song when I drive around sometimes and I'm in a mood. I'll play this for you when we're in Forks. That will be the one non-Twilight song that's allowed that week. But we will be driving. I'll turn it up all the way and you'll feel it.
It is pretty.
Mm-hmm. Have you listened to it with headphones on, like fully all the way through?
No.
I would recommend that because then you'll get like the emotions of it. Like it's a really short song, but I think it's so powerful and so beautiful. The Emily smile means she's debating it.
I am genuinely thinking about it.
Just
It
let
does
it
sound
sit.
like a song that would make a good fan edit,
Hmm.
I think, of like the really sad moments from Catching Fire all put together.
Then again, I think it would be a perfect song. It's such a quiet song that it could physically fit into the movie when her and Peeta are on the chariots. Because I think that's the tone of what that chariot ride is.
I think you could maybe sway me on this song. I need to
Really?
listen to it more.
Well, I will sell this song so hard because this song, and
I
then what
just
was
can't
it from
believe it's your favorite.
and Dark Days.
Dark Days, I
So
totally
good.
understand. Like,
Hmm.
Dark Days isn't like top 3 of all the soundtracks for me, but it's definitely of the first soundtrack. I love that song. I just don't
So
understand Angel on Fire.
Angel on Fire, I will talk about this song for hours. Like, I literally, this summer, there's a core memory from this past summer where sometimes I just go on drives to like feel emotions, listen to music, and I turn
See,
this song
I don't
on.
relate to that.
You will
Because I
soon.
don't drive.
You will soon. Me
Ah!
convincing Emily to get her license.
For Twilight.
Not me, not me. But just turning this song on, and I just like instantly started like bawling, like straight crying so hard because I just feel Katniss's like soul. I can't even describe it. Like I feel her, what she represents in the books, in this one song. Like, girl, just put some headphones on, turn the lights off. If you're in a mood, listen to this song.
I was just gonna say, I think I need to be in a mood, and
Mhm.
like, I don't know if I'm in that mood very often.
Sometimes you just need to have a cry, and that's what this song allows me to do.
I don't cry. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? Well, then you're friends with the wrong
I should
person.
watch that Prim and Katniss video that made me cry last week, and then listen to this song. See
So
if
yeah,
it
um,
does anything for me.
did you end the video and then watch that and then cry all the rest of the night, or what was the story there? Really curious.
I did rewatch it.
You're like, I did.
I was a little emotional.
It's okay.
I'm just so
This
surprised.
song is everything to me. Everything.
Okay, so what are your top 3 on this soundtrack?
Okay, I put 4 because I like them for
Okay.
different reasons. First song, obviously, Angel on Fire. My second favorite song is Lights by Phantogram.
It's
My
like the
third
bottom.
favorite is Devil May Cry. And then my fourth favorite, just because of like how representative the song is and just how beautiful. It's not something I'd listen to like just bopping out, but I love Gale's song and like what it represents. So
Mm. It's hard to choose. There are a lot of good ones.
yeah, and they're also different. Like even though they are pretty like upbeat and definitely not a District 12 feel, I think
Hmm.
that it's a lot more of a variation and it's like a lot harder to pick like based on mood
Yeah,
and stuff.
the first soundtrack definitely had much more of a cohesive feeling.
What are
But there's a
yours?
lot going on in Catching Fire, so
That's true, which I think they capture in this soundtrack perfectly, to be honest with you.
I'm not sure about the order. I mean, Everybody Wants to Rule the World is probably my favorite. And then Silhouettes and Devil May Cry. I don't know. I can't choose.
Hmm.
They're
They're
tied
great
for
songs.
second place.
I can't wait for us to do, or for you to run, because you did this with the first soundtrack, the bracket for these songs. Like you did the Hunger Games soundtrack, now it's time to do
I
Catching
know.
Fire.
I feel like I didn't do the best job of like deciding who should go on, or like which song should go on which side of the bracket and who should compete against each other
Hmm.
to make it the kind of the most popular songs near the end.
Yeah.
Although it
Uh,
ended up being Safe and Sound and just the game
mhm.
at the end, but Safe and Sound just won by a landslide.
Which it's kind of like I felt like I was let down by that because it's the most popular sound or song on that soundtrack. Um, so I hope the same thing doesn't happen for Catching Fire because it was definitely like a less sought after album than the first one in terms of its place in the fandom. So hopefully there's a little bit like different differing opinions in this one.
Yeah. With this, I feel like I don't know really what the top songs are.
It
Like
better
what
not be
what
We
is
Remain.
people's favorite song in general on this soundtrack? I feel like I don't really know.
Yeah. I hope, like, I'm getting a feeling the front runners are going to be the three that were like the promotional songs, which would be um,
Atlas,
Atlas,
Satellite
We
Heart. I
Remain,
mean,
and
Satellite Heart, whatever.
that's a good song, but not here.
I meant Elastic Hearts.
Elastic Heart. Why is it? I was also getting those two mixed up when I was like taking notes for this. The titles are very similar for some
They
reason.
both
I don't
say
know.
heart.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna be down to those three. That's the bet I'll make. But hopefully people change their choices and choose the underdog song, like Angel on Fire.
Hint, hint. Everybody go listen to that. Like I will be doing.
Anyway, I mean, Catching Fire, great soundtrack. I'm really bummed that the next one we have to talk about is Mockingjay because we just got through the two best ones. But
There's a couple really good ones on Mockingjay Part 1 though.
Lord, featuring Mockingjay.
Yeah.
That's
My
what the album's
favorite
called.
song I think is on Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
excited to.
Which I'm sure it's really easy for you to guess what it
Yeah.
is because most of the songs are trash.
Is it Yellow Flicker?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I was like, it has to be.
Spoiler. I think that's my favorite song of the whole
Really?
thing.
We'll talk about that, but
Yeah, we'll
that's
get into it.
fascinating. Okay, but stay tuned for next week's episode, which is going to be the Gale Hate Club episode. So
All about Gale.
we're just going to dive right into Gale's character spotlight and talk about why we don't like Gale. It's not going to be a nice episode for our Gale lovers. So hopefully you will come with like support as to why we don't enjoy his character. But obviously there are points of me that do like him in some aspects.
Oh yes, definitely.
It's not like we're
We'll
just going to
start
slander.
there and we'll progress
a spiral
through Gale's arc.
Yes. So join us next week for that. And then, like Emily mentioned at the beginning of the episode, check us out on Mockingjay Mondays, which are on Monday nights, obviously, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be reading Ballad chapters 5 and 6 tomorrow. And in the meantime, check out our TikTok, Instagram, all our social media, Into the Arena Podcast, and let us know what you're thinking. Leave comments, review us. We want to have a conversation with you guys. So until next week,
Yeah.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.